Sal, Jade, and welcome. It's so wonderful to have you here with me at the moment. I'm coming to you live in our How to Be Psychic group, and I'm going to be talking to you today about how you can improve your psychic readings. And I'm just going to be sharing with you as well some additional tips on how you can make sure that you're knowing which oracle cards to choose if you're just getting started, some additional wisdom if you are just getting started, or if you've been going for a while and you feel like you're still struggling to connect, as well as we're going to be looking at different ways in which you can deal with the guardian meditation sorry, the guardian meditation, if you feel like you're not connecting and maybe different symptoms that you might be having. Now, I'm not sure if I am blurry. So anyone who's with me right now, can you let me know if I'm blurry? I know that's a weird thing to say, but I've just put my new webcam up and it looks like to me it's blurry, but I don't know. What's going on right now is it's suddenly become the most glorious day in all of history today. So if I'm squinting at the screen or you see me put my sunglasses on to read a question, it's because it's really squinty here. So thank you. I'd love to see who's here, and just pop in where you're from and where you're joining me from. And I'm also going to be talking today about how you can get the best tips for getting really good reviews if you're if you're trying to exchange readings for reviews. So if you're in this group and you're thinking, I'd like to build up my Facebook reviews or my webpage reviews, then popping in just a few tips today about how you can improve that. So let me know who's here, and I'm just going to get started in a minute. And I also wanted to talk to you just about what's coming up for this year and how to be psychic, and just more ways that you can get value out of your beautiful group. So, okay, so hello. I can't say your beautiful name, Kalalia, Miss Perry. I'm sorry, the screen is really glary. I'm really sorry. Sweetie, am I blurry? Is this just me? Because I need my Nana glasses. Like, I might need to start wearing my glasses for my Facebook lives. Is it me that thinks I'm blurry, or is it actually that I am blurry? If you could let me know, that would be great. Because if I'm blurry, I might have to quit out and come back in and fix it. I'll wait to hear from the lovely, is it Kalalia? It's such a beautiful name, Kalia. Hi, Michelle. Hello. Sorry for those of you who are having technical difficulties. I just wanted to check. Michelle, can you see if I am blurry? I'm not sure why I'm seeing myself as blurry. If it's my... No, I'm fine. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sometimes it's the internet connection. Sometimes it's just, as I said, me maybe needing my glasses a bit more and being too vain to put them on. So, what we're going to do now, hello, who's that? Someone, Alana. Sorry, I can only see your first name because, the second name because it's a bit, the screen is a bit glary today. We're having some lovely Queensland overcast monsoon weather. So, before I get started, I would just love to thank the following: Ali Hagam, Emily Gray, Sanjita Gore, and Michelle Albers, and anyone else who's taken the time to do a review for How to Be Psychic. Thank you so much for taking that time and adding a few comments about what you got out of the course. I really, really appreciate it. So thank you. And thank you for anyone who's given me any reviews in the past couple of months. So we're going to kick off. We are in our 2021 year. Now, for those of you who are in the US, and Canada, I just read from one of the really great mediums I know who's been in this group for a long time, Ali Mauer, and she mentioned that the 11th of January today is apparently an amazing day for manifesting, an amazing day for making a wish come true. And so it's something to do with Aquarius and something else, and I didn't quite read the full thing. I just got excited about the manifesting bit. So if you are in the States or the US, and before you go to sleep tonight, I would wish upon a star that something that you really want to come true, because funnily enough, I didn't even know this yesterday, and I just felt all day, I felt this kind of really kind of awesome manifesting energy. I don't know if you're like me, but I come into January kind of feeling like I'm better off trying to start my new year when it's the Chinese New Year, because January for me, it's really hard to kind of get in the groove and get the magic happening. And so I was feeling up until yesterday a little bit like, I'm not really, feeling it. I'm not feeling 2021 yet. And then suddenly yesterday I started feeling it and feeling quite positive and quite uplifted. And And then, funnily enough, I kind of cast this wish and it was connected to this other wish. And then I got this really incredible news. And it was actually a really huge thing that was going to save me lots and lots, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And it was just like a total, like, not what I was expecting. So, cast that beautiful wish if you are still on the 11th of January today. Now, those of you who haven't done these before, I look okay, thank you. Kelly, okay, Kelly, thank you. I can read Kelly. That's popping up. Hi, Leslie. And you are from Mexico. Hello, Miss Alana. I can see that. Oh, it's Is. I think it's Is. So, those of you who haven't been with me before when I've been doing these, so I do these about once every 2 months. So I do one in Tarot Mastery. That's my Tarot Card Success Course one. And then the next month I do the How to Be Psychic one. So I alternate them each month. And I tend to just gather a bunch of what I consider to be the most asked questions, or the most questions that I find interesting that haven't been asked before, and I will answer them here. So I take them from this Facebook group, and I also take them as well from your Q&A board on your Udemy thing. And so just things that people have sent me over the month that I find particularly useful for the group, especially if there's something maybe you haven't thought to ask yet. And then at the end, if you've got any questions for me, just pop them in there and I can answer those questions for you. Linda, hello, you will make a wish tonight. Awesome. Yes, definitely do. Hello. Oh, where's my, oh, Debbie. Debbie's like one of my most long-time students, who is a brilliant Udemy instructor who does crystal courses. And those of you who have ever asked me a crystal question before know that I probably tend to put you in Debbie's general direction, because she does amazing crystal courses on Udemy. So hello, Debbie. It's awesome to see you. Lovely. So, Lynn, you're going to pretend you're in the USA because you're in Norway. Yeah, just take a bit of back timing. Absolutely. Hello, Miss, sorry, I think it's Glesima, but Glesme, if I'm saying it wrong, I'm so sorry. My screen, I'm going to put my sunglasses on and read. Not because I'm trying to look cool. No, that actually makes it worse. Hello, Miss, I'm going to say Miss Brown, or Mr. Brown. That's going to make it easier. So, as I said, I apologise if the screen, it's a bit glary for me today. We're having a very overcast day, so I might not be able to read your things. Hello, Lita, and hello, the wonderful lawyer, another one of my very, very long time students. Hello, Raina, you too. Hello. So, what I'm going to start with first is, now some of these questions I have asked before, so I'm going to leave the ones that I've answered before, I'm going to leave those to the end. Those of you who are new to How to Be Psychic, if you go to my YouTube channel, I have all the past seminars that I have done in this group, and if you don't want to have to wade through them all, you can actually just click the description box. I think it's under Psychic Development Training Classes, that's the category it's under, and just click the description box and you'll see what I talk about each time. So if you're looking for something in particular, you can find it in there. So, or if you think, look, that seminar's not interesting enough, I won't watch the whole thing, then you can kind of go through and see. So what I'm doing today, I'm going to actually kick off with the question that kind of sparked my interest, that came from a student this week who wanted to know which oracle card deck she could use for health readings and love readings and career readings and general readings. So like kind of all of them. And I'm sorry I had to, I mean, I'd love to be able to, you know, give her one, pull that out of the magic box. But for me, I don't think there is just one deck that's an oracle card deck that is fantastic for all of those huge readings. Like, you don't have to buy lots and lots and lots of different decks, but you are probably going to need to buy more than one at some stage. And I also recommend that you don't set yourself that really lofty high goal in the beginning of expecting yourself to be a genius at health readings and career readings and love readings and general readings and spiritual readings and life purpose readings all within the first month of using oracle cards. Like, it's something that will take time. And those of you who know my courses know that this is like the beginner level, and then I go on to do career readings courses and love courses and health, because you kind of do need to niche it down when you're going up to higher levels and getting more advanced. And so I will start by saying, now I know Doreen Virtue's cards, there's a lot of controversy around them and they're not as readily available anymore, or they're like $150 or something. And those cards were fantastic when she brought them out. The daily guidance from the angels, they were really good. The archangel decks, they were fabulous too. But great alternatives for me. I do really love Kyle Gray's decks. I find them really, like, you still have to look at the book when you're learning it, but I find them easy to process and use. I really love in my new careers, how to do career readings and life purpose readings. I've really loved the Keeper of the Light. I find that really good, especially for those of you, because I know sometimes people do this course and they're not that really into angels. Like they'd much rather, that they may be Hindu and they might be wanting to look, or they might be Buddhist, or they might be other religions, and they're not really, and they're associating angels with Christianity, and they're thinking, I don't really want to learn about angels. So Kyle Gray's great for that, because he has one called The Angels and Ancestors, which deals with angels, but it also has like ancestors, and the Keepers of the Light go into all different traditions. So I really like that deck, and I do recommend that one for beginners too. And the other one is his very basic one, which I think is called Angel Prayers. It's like a blue covered one. They're really great for beginners as well. So don't beat yourself up if you feel like you're not getting all of them, but just start with one simple one and start doing little general readings and then move up. Now, someone asked me today about, and I wanted to add this as a little trick or a technique you can use, about the star seed. I think it's Rebecca Campbell who does the star seed oracles. Now, I haven't, they look beautiful on the cover. I haven't played with them yet, so I can't actually say whether or not they are the best deck to use with this course, or for like career readings, or I think she asked me, but she's from my love readings course, and she asked if she could use that deck with the love readings. And the thing is, what I would do, if there's a deck you're not familiar with, but you've already got it and you're not sure, what you do is you just go through and think to yourself, okay, could I answer, like look at the cards and say, well, the common questions that people get asked in love readings, like when am I going to get married, or, when will I meet my soulmate, or those kind of questions that I explore in the love readings course, those common questions, could these cards answer it? And if you're pulling out cards that you're thinking, well, actually, no, that wouldn't answer it. So you can do that by figuring out which ones are the best yourself. Like I've got recommendations in all my courses. So in the health reading and the love reading, the career reading, and in this course, I've got all my recommendations, but you can actually do it yourself. You can, and if you haven't bought the cards yet, just go on to Google, type the card in, click on images, and just go through and think, okay, is this answering questions around, if it's a job, should I get a job, or should I take this job, or should I change careers, and just see, and that way you can determine for yourself if you think it's going to be a good deck for that. Like that's kind of the simple, intuitive way I do it. Hello, Phyllis. Hello, hi. So I hope that helps a little bit when you're trying to decide on that first deck, or even if you want to niche out. So like I said, my other courses, and you don't have to, like, if you're not ready to buy another course yet, you don't have to go in and buy my love readings course. You can just click on it, because that particular lecture is a free download, or free preview, I think it is. So you can just click on it and see yourself, and then when you feel like if you want to do more love readings, you can. But as I said, don't get hung up on trying to buy one deck that will cover all of them, because I think for me, most authors have a particular passion or a particular angle towards one or the other that they like and prefer. Now I've just realised I didn't put my headphones in. That's all right. Move on. Technical difficulties. So it's actually pretty quiet in here today, so it's not a problem. So what I want to talk about now is looking at anyone who struggles with the guardian meditation. Now, I've always thought to myself, maybe I should put that meditation later, because when people struggle with it so early in the course, they get really despondent and feel like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to ever be psychic because I didn't see anything, or I didn't feel anything, or I read some today where people said they saw the angels but they didn't engage with them, or they saw the angels but couldn't hear the message. And so it brings up a lot of self-doubt and a lot of fear. And can I just say, like, the first time you attempt it, it's just playing. Like, you're just trying to make a connection and to see what comes in, and it might only be a flash of light, it might be just a sight of and it might be not even an angel, it might be like working with Krishna, it could be working with Merlin, it could be working with someone totally different. And for me, I always say, whatever comes in, just take it as what you need to know for now. And if you don't get a strong visual or strong audio, if you don't get any of that, please don't worry. Like, just keep working through the course, and work and go through your oracle card sections and play with your oracle cards, and then return and go back. So I've often talked about blocks. Like, some people will have blocks, and that's just the way it is. Like, I had blocks. Like, others, can seem to pick it up easier than others. If you have blocks, please do look at either the blockages lecture in this course, but also in Psychic Readings Intermediate level. I have a lecture that is 26 different blocks that psychics can experience. So please go and look at that, because that you might go, oh my goodness, that's exactly me. Like either you might feel like you have to see it exactly like a Hollywood angel, or you may secretly believe that it's not really right to do it, or you might just think, it has to be so real that it's like someone's walked in the room and they're standing in front of me. So going in and looking and digging it out and seeing what perhaps is going on for you, like what fears are coming up, is really, really helpful. One of the reasons I did my Boost Your Psychic Gifts with EFT course was because I wanted people to learn how to love themselves and accept themselves, even if they felt like they couldn't see that angel straight away, or they couldn't see their guide straight away. And that leads me to the next incredible, beautiful question that we got in this group this month. And I think her name was Jasmine, and I'm so sorry if I'm saying that, because it was spelt a bit differently, and there was so many beautiful, supportive, loving answers. So thank you to everyone who answered. And she said, why do I feel so drawn to this and to connecting with my psychic gifts, and yet I don't feel like I give good readings, or I haven't seen angels yet, or I haven't, connected yet. And what lots of people said, and what I said, is that, and she'd also been told by psychics that she was meant to be a psychic, and so that, was even more pressure on her. Please love and respect and honor your own soul journey with this. Like, everyone is going to find their connection with guides and angels differently, and they're going to find them in their own time. There's no wrong and there's no failure. I read this incredible quote by Denzel Washington when he was giving a speech on Facebook today, where he said something like, if it takes you 10 failed relationships to get that perfect relationships, that's what it takes. If you take however long you get to get a degree, that's what it takes. Like, you're never a failure. Just keep trying and try different ways. Like, think outside the box for it. Like I said, sometimes some of the reasons I've created those other courses were for people that weren't fitting into that straight away, picking it up straight away. But also, it might be that you need a healing, and it might be that there's a real serious block in there that could come from, a third eye block. It could come from something else. So please persist. And I know there's been so many incredible feedbacks in this group of students who didn't get the guardian angel straight away, went away and then practiced with their cards and practiced in the group, and then started building up their confidence, and they came back and then they got it. And so, or they actually, as I said, they went away and got a healing, or they did one of my other courses about removing blocks, and they were just patient with themselves, and they suddenly felt like they were getting it. So please, lots of love and self-compassion and kindness if you haven't picked it up straight away. Not everybody does. It's something that the meditation itself comes from a combination of my own channeled stuff, my own experience when I was learning, a little bit of theta healing in there. So it's kind of like a whole bunch of things, and it might not straight away hit everyone the first time. Loving yourself and just being patient with yourself is really the best move forward with that. Now, on that same token, and so for that wonderful, beautiful student, I know I mentioned, and lots of people mentioned, like, just take it as, okay, this is my soul journey. If you're drawn to this, then there's going to be a pathway. It just might not be the most obvious pathway. So just to think about, okay, how can I do this? And ask your subconscious, ask your angels and guides to send out there what the solution is for you to connect. Now, other people have also asked, and it's been happening a lot more lately, and I think it's because of the world events right now. They've asked this question about, I got dizzy when I did the meditation, or whenever I do a reading on someone, I feel like I get a pain in my tummy, or I get cold, or I felt like I had a headache. Now, this is actually an interesting thing, because these are actually positives for me. Like, getting physical symptoms is a sign that you are opening up. And even now, after all these years of readings for me, sometimes when I do a reading afterwards, I get a bit of a headache, and I have to go make sure I've drunk lots of water, stomp on the earth, I'll make sure I've disconnected from my client. Like, it's a real, that the physical symptoms are because you're putting your mind up there. And so because you're putting your mind up there, like it can be a lot of pressure on this. And it's also something our bodies aren't used to naturally doing in our everyday life. So it's a little bit like when you start going to yoga, you're suddenly feeling like the next day you're going to rub deep heat all over yourself. It's a little bit like that with psychic work. Like when you're waking up, there might be some uncomfortable symptoms. Now, more deeper and serious things I've seen over the year is if you actually start to have a lot of physical pain. That can often mean there's been a really intense past life, and you might need to do some past life healing on that. But for the most part, it tends to be, it's just about going, okay, well, I just have to make sure I ground, or maybe do less readings. Like what I tend to find, and I was the same, when you start playing with this, you want to do 50 readings. And so you jump into the groups and you do lots and lots and lots, and then you're like, I don't understand, I've got these big massive headaches. And it's like, yes, because you've just downloaded stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of information, and your beautiful soul can only really process so much at the same time. So just go very slow and gentle with yourself as well. And look, and if you've promised people in the group that you're going to give them a certain amount of readings and you're feeling of it, you've given too many, just reach out to them and say, hi, I'm sorry, it's going to be delayed for a few days. Like people understand that, and that sometimes it's good to take a rest. So I hope that's helped with people who are feeling that they're getting a few physical symptoms. It's actually not usually a problem. It's actually just a very natural sign that you're opening up. And as the body adjusts, and as the being and the auric field and the energy field and the etheric field, they all adjust, you'll have less of those. As I mentioned a lot, I love black tourmaline for this. I really do. I love those grounding crystals. I love walking in nature for this. I do this a lot in the in my health readings course. I talk about looking after yourself, and all those little things of raising your vibration. They really help get rid of some of those symptoms too. Now I'm going to talk about nightmares, because something that's interesting that I've seen in this group and in my own personal life is there's been a massive increase lately in people having nightmares. And those of you who know a little bit more about dream studies know that nightmares usually symbolize that there's something going on in the unconscious that that you haven't dealt with, that you're not aware of, and it's been brought to the surface. And it could be an unconscious fear, and it's often not even necessarily real. It's just something that your fears. And those of you who've done my tarot course know that those unconscious cards are all about things that you're not aware of that are kind of shaping your fears. And all I can say is I think a lot of the reason is that we have had a really traumatic 2020. It's understandable that a lot of fears have been brought up for a lot of people. And also there's been a lot of negativity in the news and what's going on in the world energy right now. So it makes sense that there's probably been a lot more nightmares, that we're all picking up on a lot more intense energy. So write it down and think. What I do with it is I go, oh my goodness, like if I wake up from a really unsettling one, like I had one the other night where I woke up and then I got up and had chamomile tea, read a book, went back to sleep and had the same dream again. I couldn't get out of it. And so I had to wake up the next day and I was unsettled, and I had to say, okay, I know I have to heal this year. This is coming into this January time. This is something I need to heal, and just put that aside. I might not be able to heal it right now, but I'm just noting that there's going to be a healing going on around this. So I would do that if you are having nightmares as well, because as I said, it could just be world energy coming in for you. Now, so another question about oracle card decks. Someone said, if you're using multiple oracle card decks, do you need to clear each one? You can just do a quick one while you're in the mode. You don't have to feel like you have to go back to the beginning and start all over again. Sometimes when I'm doing a reading for someone and I suddenly feel like intuitively they need a different type of deck that I'm the one I'm doing, I'll jump up and run into my little reading room and I'll pull one out and I'll come back out and I'll just kind of do a quick knock, knock, knock and clear it and then start. So don't feel like you have to do the whole protection and the clearing all over again if you've already done it with the one deck that you're already doing. Or if you know you're going to be using multiples, just do a little thing for them at the start and ask that energy cover all of them. So I hope that's helped anyone with that question. So those of you who are doing, I want to give a couple of tips if you are exchanging readings in the group right now to get reviews. Now, the first thing I will say is that it's really important that you think about when you are posting an advertisement to get a review from someone, that you need to make sure that you can't just give a 2 or 3 sentence answer and expect a 5-star review. You have to give someone a solid rating. Like you have to give someone, for me to be it has to take 15 to 20 minutes of your time to be really worthy of a 5-star review. Like a 1-sentence answer is not really going to help anyone for the simple reason that if you think about it, like most psychic readings is something that's going to happen in the future. So someone can't turn around within 7 days and give you a 5-star review when they actually haven't seen if that's come to pass yet. And so if you want to make sure you're boosting up those 5-star reviews and also avoiding any miscommunication with anyone in the group, then make sure that your readings that you're fleshing them out in the past and the present. Because obviously the past and the present is what somebody who's giving you a review is going to be only able to judge you on. They're not going to know what the future is because that hasn't come to pass yet. So unless you're willing to wait 3 months for your review. So make sure that you're focusing on going into the background of what's going on, like pulling cards for the background, pulling cards for the present, channeling and bringing in some extra information, because that's where you get the beautiful meat of the reading. That's where your client starts to trust you, is when you're in that immediate beginning thing, because that's when things start to resonate and then they trust the future predictions. So I just wanted to say that because I know there can be confusion. People sometimes think it's enough to, just as I said, give a 5-minute reading and think that someone's going to be excited about giving you a 5-star review. It's probably not. On the other token, I will say those of you who are in the group who are getting free readings, and I do ask if you're getting free readings, please make sure you're giving them back as much as possible. Everyone knows how I get a little bit cranky pants about people just jumping in the group and using people for free readings. Sadly, I had to remove someone from the group at the end of last year in November. It's not something I like to do. I've only ever done it 3 times in the whole time we've had this group, but they were just coming in and basically using people for readings and not giving feedback. And then, the 2 weeks had passed, and then they would basically, I reminded them even in the group, and they still were asking other people for readings without giving people readings. So obviously that's just not on in this group when it comes to feedback, and I will intervene with that. I have a system in place where you email Kathy at team@saljade.com if someone hasn't returned your feedback, not your review, but your feedback, and she will remind them at the end of the month, as long as you've waited 14 days and you've sent them a reminder. What I wanted to say is that also when you are asking someone for a question in exchange, like if someone's offering you a question in exchange for a review, please don't go and ask them 4 or 5 or even 2 questions. Like ask them one thing you want a solid answer on, because that is, you're giving them a review, but please, it's another thing that I find people get frustrated with. To get a review, someone shouldn't have to give you 1 hour. They shouldn't have to jump through hoops and explore every avenue of your life. They shouldn't have to give you a health and a boyfriend reading and a house reading and a job reading for you to say that's worth 5 stars. Like focus on one thing you really want to know, and that's what you're looking for basically. And also, remember to be kind. Something to remember about readings, and those of you who've done my other courses know I go into this a lot more, is that it's very rare that a psychic reading will contain 100% accuracy. And it's funny, I actually saw, I don't know if I mentioned this the last time I did this or if I mentioned it in Tarot Card Success. I saw one of those Facebook ads where someone says, I will 100% predict your soulmate for you. And it was quite funny because I got a bit curious. I went, really? Because in my experience of being a mentor and also working with a lot of psychics, 100% accuracy isn't usually the case. And so I had a little cheeky, sneaky look through it. And funnily enough, there were people that said, yes, she was really accurate. And then someone said, she kind of picked my brother. My twin flame was my brother. And then someone else said, no, she wasn't accurate at all, like totally way off kind of thing. And so, know that even those that claim to be 100% accuracy, quite often there is still little hiccups. So understand that if someone gives you something and the majority of it is resonating with you, then that's a great reading. Like, don't feel like if they got every single thing, like if they got a couple of things that weren't spot on, that doesn't mean it's a bad reading. And also keep in mind the nature of readings are so fluid and, basically subjective is probably the best word. People can often, and I've seen this a lot, like I've said this to people where I see something or a card comes through and I'm explaining it, and it's not until a few months later that they actually get what that meant. It doesn't kind of come home to roost, I guess, until a couple of months later. So keep that in mind as well. Now, I have got some exciting news about some of you might have seen, I've got a feedback template in this group, and please, I can't say please enough, please times infinity. If you are offering readings in this group to people, send them that feedback form. It has reduced by 80 something % the amount of times people have to chase people up for readings. I have a very particular system that makes sure that that person will not be able to get a reading from you until they have read the whole thing. So there's a secret password in there, and there's a whole lot of ways that you can protect yourself from making sure people aren't just jumping in and not giving you feedback. Now the exciting news, so just put hashtag PDF and you'll see it. I also tend to post it once a week in here, and also it's in your resources of your course in how to join the Facebook group. So there's 3 ways you can find it. This year, I'm going to make up a fillable one. So in the past, you weren't able to chop and change it because it's an active document, like it's a live document, which means that if you change it, it changes for everyone. I'm going to create a fillable one for you in the next month where you can, basically I'll do the basics and then you can send it to someone and they can fill all that information in. So it's a really great way to have that in hand so you don't have to go back and forth with lots of emails. So I'm going to be doing that this in the next month. Okay, so I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. So those of you who know, I have just released the How to Give Career Readings and Life Purpose Readings on Udemy. You can find it there. If you're looking for it on sale, if it's not on sale right now, go to the last lectures in your How to Be Psychic course and you will see it's called Bonus Gifts for You or something like that. It's like literally the second or third last lecture, and if you click on that, it's got the links to it of the latest sales that Udemy lets me sell it for. So that's out now, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, if technology is kind and my schedule is kind, I'm hoping that this year, in the next few months, I'll be doing a reverse tarot course. I know that a lot of people have been requesting it for a while, so I'm hoping to do the reverse tarot course in the next few months as well. And and I'm also going to be offering, a lot of people have asked me about the VIP Advanced Tarot program, which is the psychic business program, and the VIP's training and the certification. I'm not doing that with coaching calls live this year, but I am going to be offering it evergreen in a different way, and it won't cost as much. So if you are interested in that, please reach out to me at sal@saljade.com. Okay, now I can answer any questions people want. I might need to put my glasses on. So if you've got some questions, please pop them in. I hope that has helped everyone with understanding more about oracle cards, little recommendations, clearing them, as well as looking at... Oh, sorry, one last one. I forgot this one. And I've had this 3 times this month, which is really unusual. When you're talking to your angels, a few people wanted to know, do you say it out loud or do you say it in your mind? So for me, I tend to, if it's just me on my own, I tend to say it out loud. So I'm like, oh, come on, angels, please help me with this. Or, angels, can you show me the way to this? So I tend to say it. If I'm working with a client, I say it in my mind's eye. So I tend to do it in my mind's eye when I'm working with a client. So something I also wanted to mention, I think probably the most underused resource in this course, I will have to say, where many of you are missing out on getting your value for money out of this course, is the meeting someone else's guardian angel. Because that particular process for me was the process that I used that really gave me a lot of confidence that I could do psychic readings. And so please, I'm very open to you with that meditation. There is a PDF, so you can actually learn it off by heart and do it in your minds. But I do encourage you to get a little buddy, like you can do hashtag psychic buddy, to join up with someone and go off and do it on your own together with each other if you can't find anyone else to do it with. Because that particular meditation, again, it's a combination of my own, of what worked for me, but it's also a combination of other teachers that I brought all together. It just skyrocketed me. Learning how to channel and read on other people by tuning into behind their shoulders, the process that I use in that, it really helped me. So I am really encouraging you to try to team up with someone in the group and practice on each other. Okay, now let's start with the questions. Hello, Alyssa, you made it. Yay. Hello, Julia. Leslie. Your block is visualizing, but all of the other senses to compensate for the visual. Yeah, look, the interesting thing, Leslie, is that's okay. I know I think I don't know if I've mentioned to you before, but there are some psychics who never visualize. They are pure hearing, they are pure feeling, and they never get that. And that doesn't mean you will never get that, but if you can do all the other stuff, then please stick with that for now. If you get worried and if you think, look, I really do want to visualize, then if you've done psychic readings intermediate level, practice all those exercises. I've got something like 10 different exercises. I can make it your 2021 mission to do one a week of them. Or that's the kind of thing, as I said, if that still isn't working, as I said, there might be a third eye blockage. It might need a healing. But definitely look at practicing clairvoyant exercises as much as possible and see if that helps. But if you feel like not everybody is clairvoyant, and it doesn't matter, you don't have to be. Sometimes it is about hearing, and I think I've mentioned before, some of the most gifted psychics I know are just pure feeling. They feel that this is what's going on, and they share that. Oh, Julie, you feel your spirit guide and you feel your angel, but you don't see them. And look, funnily enough, sometimes it's actually like that for me too. I'm very clairvoyanty, but occasionally, especially if I'm tired or worn out, sometimes I just feel them with me, and I'm like, oh, I can't see anything, but I'm kind of feeling you there. So that's okay too. You don't need to see. You love listening to me. Thank you, Marcy. Raises your vibration, Leslie. You're reading posts this morning about so many nightmares lately. I know. I'm just putting it down to world energy, and probably 2021. We've had a big tower year last year. I'd say this is a year where we're going to be cleaning up some of our stuff, and so that would probably make sense to me. Hi, Carl. Leslie, can I do a 3-card reading finishing with a possible outcome? Do you mean when you do a reading? Can you rephrase that? Sorry, I'm not quite sure what that one means. Lauren, not everyone is 100% all the time. Yes, absolutely. And learning to forgive that and learning to be okay with that is one of the hardest things about being a professional psychic, because obviously you're meant to be okay all the time. You're meant to be perfect all the time. But sometimes we're not. And sometimes it could even be a block or a free will thing or something that's coming from the client as well. Fun. Hi. Oh, great question, Richard. How do you know when it's time to start charging for readings? It's different for everybody. I would say for me, so I mean, my number that I usually give people in the psychic business courses I do is I say once you've done 50 or 60 free readings, you pretty much should be ready to start charging. You should have to, by that stage, you should have enough kind of testimonials, and you should have that confidence to start charging. Obviously, though, I mean, if it's something like the tarot, you can't start charging until you really feel like you can do a reading without looking at the book. That's my other rule of thumb. If you feel like you can do it without looking at the book, then you're probably ready. But yeah, that's my thing was it was like I'd done so many. I'd done 50 to 60 readings and healings, and I suddenly was like, okay, this is it. Okay, this is it. I'm ready. I have to do this now. I'm just going to keep studying and procrastinating. So that's my general, rule of thumb. And do spend that time early in the beginning, really dedicating yourself. I'm sorry, that's some construction noise that's just come from nowhere. Do spend some time early in the beginning making sure you're really okay with your psychic protection rituals and your little rituals to connect, because those rituals are what get you through the nerves. I hope that's helped, Richard. Hi, Sal. I'm new to this course and I'm unsure how soon I can able to complete my oracle card reading for myself and have confidence as a result of the cards and true to my next steps. Can't complete an oracle card reading for the same question, multiple times to see if the results have the same meaning. Sorry, let me read through this again. I'm new to this course and I'm unsure how soon I'm able to complete an oracle card reading for myself and have confidence that the results are true to my next steps. Can I complete an oracle card reading for the same question multiple times? I would suggest, first of all, please try not to test the cards by asking the same question again and again and again and again. That's really not a great idea. And I talk about this a lot in the tarot course as well, because you need time for whatever the wisdom of the oracle card to unfold. So, but really, I mean, if I think about me, I started doing oracle card readings for myself really as soon as I got the cards. I was so excited. So I've got some oracle. My story of the oracle cards was I think the goddess ones were no, they weren't. It was the messages from the angels, and I got gifted them when I bought a Doreen Virtue ticket off somebody. So Doreen Virtue had sold out. She was doing her angel therapy seminar, and I was going, and I found a ticket, and the woman gifted me the messages from the angels one. And so I just ran home. It was about a week before the course was about to start, and I ran home and I just kind of played with it, and I started giving them to myself straight away. So do it straight away. Take notes. Like, don't. But obviously, please don't do those life or death kind of questions. You know, don't do should I quit my job if you've not experienced that yet, because that's going to take a bit of time to get the intuition. But you can definitely ask questions about how can I improve my career, or what do I need to know to improve my career, or, you know, what do I need to know about this year, or what do I need to learn, what spiritual lessons do I need to learn this year, things like that. So start with very gentle questions, but you can pretty much start straight away. Like, you don't have to have completed the whole course to start at all. So I hope that helps you, Amy. Is there an age to which it's too old to be a beginner to being a psychic? No, absolutely not. Look, the funniest thing for me, having gone to many mind, body, spirit festivals, I think the average age of someone who is a professional reader at festivals is probably in their late 50s and 60s. So no, not at all. It's not too there. I don't think there's an age limit, because I actually think we get wiser with age and we have more experience. I'm not saying there aren't young psychics. Of course there are. But for me, so I was, what was I, 32 when I was a bit younger when I did the Doreen Virtue thing about 4 or 5 years before I became professional. But no, I didn't become professional until I was 32, and I've seen people in their 60s start to learn and become. And I do think there's something that I think people like people that are older as readers in a way, because you've got that wisdom, and you know, you can kind of you can look at a card and connect it with a life experience as well. So yes, there's no age limit for me. I think you could do it when you're 90. Fun. Why do I feel low energy after a reading with a client, and how do I detach after a reading? Okay, so first of all, if you haven't done my master health readings and psychic wellness, I do recommend it for that. I have like 2 massive whole sections that go for quite a few hours on how to raise your vibration if you're a professional psychic. You do need to think that and if you don't want to do my course, do someone else's course on raising your vibration. But psychic burnout is a real thing that can happen if you're doing lots and lots and lots of readings. Now, and if you're serious about being a professional, you've got to get on top of it early, because it can start to impact upon your relationships and on your health, and even your willingness to want to be a psychic. Because obviously, if you're left drained all the time, you're like, why do I want to keep doing this? And especially in the beginning, you might not be earning as much money, so that's even worse. You're like, I'm not really earning any money, and I feel like crap. So the best thing for me, I love grounding crystals. I love going outside and stomping on the earth and connecting with nature. Practice those raise your vibration exercises. Do a lot of psychic protection before you begin, and make sure that, so the disconnect for me, I just visualize a waterfall of light coming down and washing all that energy off me into the earth. And then I bring my own energy back up and I just cut it off, or I clap 3 times. And that's usually enough for me. But if it's been an exceptionally hard reading, and there will be hard readings, so they do happen. If there's been an exceptionally hard reading, I will go outside, I will stomp on the earth, I'll drink lots and lots of water, I will go for a walk, I will give myself some self-love, you know, and if you find yourself you're still thinking about your client obsessively, that often means you haven't cut off. So then I call in the big guns. I call in the guides and angels, and I say, listen, cut me off, please. Send that person love, send me love. The contract has been fulfilled for now, and, you know, disconnect that way. So there's some of the ways that I look at disconnecting and making sure that I'm staying clear. But definitely, you know, lots of water, grounding crystals, protective crystals, they're a really good one to do as well. But it's normal to feel that low energy if you're not protecting your vibration, if that makes sense. Like the more you're protecting and raising your vibration, the less chance you will be of getting that. Do you get goosebumps? I do, Richard. I get real goosebumps. I often get tinglies on my third eye too. I get this little and I start scratching it in the middle of the reading, which looks a bit odd. But yes, Haley. Yes, when they're true, it's a verification for me that it's true. Haley. Where am I? Sorry, I lost you, Haley. I dreamt I was pregnant last night, hoping this year of birthing lots of new things. Yes. And that's what pregnancy can often mean, that, by the way. Like people worry and think, oh my gosh, I don't want to get pregnant. For me, pregnancy and fertility, that's often about birthing new projects and, the start of something new. Doesn't always necessarily mean you're going to be having a bubba. Thank God. I was feeling way too old to be a beginner, like with languages. Thanks for the straight answer. Sometimes I head slap myself. Yes, no. I like I said, you will find that most people that are doing readings are in their 50s, 60s, 70s. Like there's no too late to start at all for me with that gift. Met my first spirit guide from taking your class, Carolyn. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you. Oh, it's such a beautiful experience. That is so wonderful. Alyssa, you met your guardian angel and he told me his name's James, but I was doubting myself. I said, if your name's James, please show me James. Somewhere within the next 24 hours and I got nothing. Was I just wrong about meeting my angel and his name? Okay, give me a second. Now, first thing I'd say is James might not be your guardian angel. He might just be an angel, okay? And that sometimes happens with this. Sometimes there's meditation, and I often like to think of it of who is with me at the moment, and then someone called James might have come through. That James could be someone who is a deceased loved one or a relative. James could be someone that you're picking up around you as well, like a psychic message about someone called James. Sometimes it's not that our exact guardian angel comes through. It might be just what needs to come through at the time. So you weren't wrong. I would just take James and put James here aside and just go, okay, I've got an angel or a guide or a message from someone called James, and leave it from that for now. Go away and maybe also ask your family if there is anyone in the ancestral line called James. I would do that because that's obviously a really clear, strong thing, because it might have been a message from spirit as well, which can sometimes happen when we're opening up like that. Or, as I said, it might be just an angel called James that's with you for now. And if you're feeling, for me, what I say to people is if whoever comes through at this moment is who you need for this moment. So just ask James for assistance and help. Work through the course, and then I would ask your oracle cards, what do I need to know about this relationship with James, and this what do I need to know? And then go back at a later date and try again. But people can often be a bit funny about getting their guardian angel because they have all this expectation that it's going to be, if it's not this thing, then my guardian, it's a bit like trying to find your totem animal. Like you want it to be a certain thing, or you worry that it's not going to be perfect, or you worry that it's not going to come through. So just consider James is your angel for now, and work with that, or as I said, just someone who's come through for you. But definitely you're not wrong. I mean, that's very strong to get a name. You were offering a free read, yes. Leslie, yes, I hope that's helped, Alyssa. Yes, Leslie, yes. If you're offering a free reading, you usually do 3 cards with a possible outcome given the guidance offered. Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, like I'm a queen of pulling additional cards. I just pull additional cards all the time. People who've done my other courses have probably seen me do that. Yes. So possible outcome if you follow this path, definitely. And I do that a lot with the tarot one as well. Yes. Me too, you're an empath. It's hard to ground. Yes, absolutely. Hi, Sal. How can I elaborate more on my readings? My readings are quite short. I'm not sure if that's because I'm not open enough or if I'm a beginner. It's actually probably because you're a beginner. So don't worry. That's not it. It comes with practice. It really does. But if you haven't already done psychic readings intermediate level, I hate sometimes just offering you another one of my courses, but it's probably the easiest way to talk about practicing a lot of those higher, like strengthening your clairvoyance or your clair sentience. That for me was how my readings got longer. because I practiced those exercises, and suddenly when I was doing an oracle card reading, it was like I'd touch the card or I'd connect with the card, and then suddenly I'd just get more information coming through. I'd be like, oh, this feels like this is connected to XYZ. And I feel like, so I'd see the tapestry of the three cards together and how they fit together and how they tell a story, but I'd get additional, I guess, information getting downloaded, and that comes through practicing sort of more higher level psychic activities. So do that, and even practice like before you're going in. I mean, and again, this is where prayer comes in. Asking, say, can I have help with more information, please? Sometimes I'll actually stop a reading and I'll close my eyes and I'll put my hand on the card and I'll say to the client, I just need a bit more information about this, and I want to draw it in and go in like that. But I mean, and obviously doing longer card readings helps as well. But that's generally how I tend to do it. I tend to just bring more information in. Something I like to do, I often will begin at the beginning by doing a pre-reading. And I can't remember what course I've just done that in. I think it's the career readings course, where I actually, before the client comes, I will actually draw a couple of cards about what I feel like they've come to see me about. So then I've already got a bit more background information as well. So just before I get in touch with their vibration, I'll do that before as well. So that's another thing you can do. So I hope that helps. But yeah, have patience, Sydney. It does take time to elaborate. I mean, it can be very confronting thinking, how am I going to do a half an hour reading with these three cards? But often that is more channeled information. Please, 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 I'm saying it again. Go and practice that meet someone else's guided angel. Practice that activity with someone in the group. Just hashtag, psychic buddy catch up. And that's how, I mean, that exercise is how I get more information, by tuning into behind them and seeing who's there and what's coming through. That can extend a reading a lot as well. And then linking it with the cards. Lisa, how do you know your vibrations are raised? So that's a great question. So usually because you just feel happier, you feel lighter. Like if you feel like you're not getting those headaches, you're not getting stressed, you're not getting tired, you just feel like you can see, it's actually a really easy thing because you just feel better. You feel more inspired. You feel like you could do 10 readings. That's usually how I can tell. Julia, when I was 41, I started my spiritual awakening, and I always felt like I was psychic, but I've talked myself out of it and doubted it, but too many of my dreams really did happen. Yes, and that's often, as I said, that's why I love the agelessness of this work, because it's often as we get older that we start to being more open about it. We're a bit more like, oh, maybe that happened for this reason, and a bit more open to a spiritual journey. Sydney, also my psychic friend told me not to talk to other spirit guides directly because it's very draining, and instead go through your own spirit guides. But I do not have clear connection to my client if I go through spirit guides. What is your take? Okay, so I do both. I actually start, it's quite interesting, I actually start by talking to my own spirit guides first, and then I talk to their spirit guides. You are right, it is more draining. If you're a beginner and you're nervous, then please don't do it straight away. Start with your own guides. But as I said, if you're having trouble with that, I would just make sure you've got a lot of protection and do some of those exercises I mentioned. Like do some of those, make sure you got lots of black crystals around you, lots of earthy crystals, drinking lots of water, and do it that way. But I can only talk about my experiences of when I first started running workshops with beginners. Like people, they would come in and they would do this exact thing on each other, which is how I kind of also created it. And I was amazed by how often they could pick up things on each other. But yes, they had to go away and disconnect and ground. So just make sure you're disconnecting and grounding as much as possible, Sydney, definitely. That will help. But yeah, no, for me, yes, you can talk through your own spiritual guides, but I find it more effective to do both. I find it more effective to go in and talk to their guides and ask their guides what they want to know. Especially because sometimes their guides will come in. Like sometimes I'll get a big massive dragon come in around them, and I'll have to kind of go, hey, what's going on? Or a tiger, or so I have to talk to them because they're just there. I can't ignore them. So that's, for me, just do a lot of that raising your vibration stuff that I talked about earlier, and protecting yourself. Lauren, can you over manifest? That's a great question. Give me an example. That might help a bit better. Hello, Nui. So Anne just said, I cannot seem to meet or hear my guardian angel. I don't think I have one. So, and everyone has one. It just might not be your soul's time right now to meet them. Please don't think that means you will never meet them. I've had so many people in this course that have told me I couldn't meet them. It took me a year, and then suddenly they were just there. I would start by forgetting about your guardian angel, because that's putting too much pressure on yourself, and just say, I would like to meet an angel, or I would like to meet a spirit guide, or I would like to meet my totem animal, and start with that, because sometimes we have incredible doubts and feelings of self-worth around meeting our own guardian. It's almost like it's just too much pressure. It's like meeting your soulmate kind of thing. So like going on a date and every date being like, is this my soulmate? Like acting like that. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I have. So being able to just say, okay, I just would like to meet an angel, any angel. Or I would like to meet a guide, any guide. Now, if you're still having problems after that, I do have lots of suggestions that I've put forward in this if you're coming to the party late. Definitely, I would look at my Boost Your Psychic Gifts with EFT tapping. Look at, because in that course, I teach you a very gentle way to just come to the bottom of why this is happening, why you can't meet them, what the block is, what the limitation is, because there could be so many different reasons why it's not coming through. But for now, go back and do it and just say, I want to meet any angel, or I want to hear or see any angel. And then if you're still having a problem, I would look at doing that Boost Your Psychic Gifts one, or look at maybe getting a healing and seeing where it's coming from, because it might be just a past life blockage. It could be something that goes deeper than just what you're being able to see, or some deep unconscious fears as well. But please be rest assured, a lot of people have had this problem before. It is solvable. It sometimes just takes a bit of patience and thinking outside the box. Alyssa, thank you so much for being better. It's a pleasure. Leslie, I have a 7-card reading to do in another group, but I feel so tired. I think a happy nappy is called for rather than trying to read the cards. Yes, I know. A nana nap. I love nana naps. I do nana naps all the time. And look, those of you who follow my clairvoyant healer page, I do weekly tarot readings on my business page, Sal J Clairvoyant Healer. This week was all about intense energy, and it was all about take rests, take lots of naps. But this is the week for lots of naps, basically. Okay, great to know. I find it easy to talk to these guides too, but get shaky. I guess you need more grounding. Yes, grounding does help a lot, and we forget to do it. And we often go, and myself included, no, I know how to ground, it's fine, I've done it. But sometimes we actually need to just sit down for 5 or 10 minutes and make sure we really are. Like even standing on the earth and in bare feet, and opening up your feet chakra and connecting that with roots in the earth. That's a really great thing to do. Okay, my loves, I'll see if there's any more questions. If I've missed your question, can you please pop it in, because sometimes the Facebook feed goes and I miss it. Now, if you're not watching this live, just check, you'll know, because just check the time. If you're not watching it live, just put #replay, and I'll get back in the next 48 hours to do it. Now, Lauren, can you over manifest? Sorry, my brain has clearly had a frozen moment. If you could give me an example of what you mean by that, because I'm not quite sure. Like, can you manifest too much, or can you try too hard that you don't manifest? Is that what you mean? Okay. No, I'll wait. Cool. Okay. Thank you. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about today. So just to recap, I'm going to be adding, I'm very excited, I'm going to be adding a fillable PDF for your feedback things that you can find in your course. I'll be doing that in the next 4 weeks. So please do use that if you're trying to get feedback from anyone in the group. It does reduce the likelihood that they won't return it. Also, remember, I've got that system in place. This is for not reviews, but for feedback. If someone still owes you feedback, and you've sent them a reminder, wait 14 days and then contact Kathy at team@salj.com. And Kathy will post a gentle reminder in the group publicly so that they know, in case they just helps remind them. Yes. Oh, Sydney, yes. So I do the lives. I do them every alternative month. So the next one I'll be doing will be in March. So what I do is I do one in How to Be Psychic. Then next month I do it in Tarot Mastery, and then the next month I do How to Be Psychic, and then next month. So yes, they're every 2 months. If you're ever worried about missing them, they are on my YouTube channel. That's just called the Psychic Healing channel. Yeah, you'll find them there as well. And I also send them out to your Udemy course as well. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Miss Alana, you're waiting to hear about the manifestation. Yeah, sorry, I haven't got that one back. I'll wait till she comes back to me, and then I'll pop back in and answer it later. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. I hope that has helped. And as always, best way to reach out to me is on the Udemy Q&A board. People that get confused about how to contact me, they try to contact me on the Facebook Messenger, but I can't get in there. There's hundreds of messages in there that Kathy has to deal with. So go straight to the Udemy message board. That's the best, or the Q&A board. That's the quickest way to get back to, for me to get back to you. Have a beautiful week, everyone. I hope 2021 is an amazing year for all of you, and I look forward to seeing you guys in March. And as always, if you've got any questions, pop them on the Q&A board. Thank you. Bye.